Hi, I just wanted to give you some video feedback on the Assessment 2 in Fin 230. Guys, on the whole I was really impressed with how much effort everybody had put into the assignments and how well they had mastered the key learning objectives. The calculations in particular were excellent, so well done. I just wanted to make a point about referencing. Anytime you do take an idea from another document, then you need to reference that. It seemed to be an issue in maybe about a quarter to a half in question 1. People had correctly identified the statement as false, put a good explanation as to why it was false, but then failed to make a reference, and all that required was, for example, Campbell 1988 in brackets behind what you were saying. In other words, you had read that reading and derived that information from that reading. You hadn't taken a direct quote, you hadn't used something that you shouldn't have, but that was where you got the information to make the assessment that the statement was false. If you didn't do that, I did deduct a mark for each response. So instead of 4 out of 4, you got 3 out of 4. So perhaps that's something you just need to think about for Assessment 3, that particularly when you are talking about the loanable funds model, for example, you will need to reference where you had derived that information. So you haven't copied a paragraph or anything, but you have derived the information from a source document, and so that still needs to be referenced. But that was really the only sort of negative aspect, if you like, and really it wasn't, I know it wasn't intentional, people probably just misread, despite me putting that instruction at the start. Now the main areas where people did seem to lose marks, and I guess that's the bit where I can help you, was in, and I expected it, question 3, B and C, the more written aspect of the assignment. Question Part B was particularly challenging in a way because you had to correctly identify that the RBA has a target range between 2 and 3% for inflation, and then say how they would counteract that higher than normal inflation rate. Most people did that really well. The second part of that question was talking about the process by which that would happen, so the process by which rates would rise. And you needed to detail whether they would buy or sell Treasury notes, and then the effect on banks' ESA accounts. In Part C, despite having given you the reference or the source document, most people didn't use much of the data out of that document. So I got a descriptive sort of analysis, which was okay, but when you're talking about sizes of markets, you really need to show me some numbers. Okay, so show me how big the market is, how much it's grown in terms of the data that's available. Okay guys, but on the whole I was really impressed, so keep up the great work in Assignment 3. Thanks.